be a mujaddid. Now, here's what the hadith by the English meaning. It is reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah shall rise for his ummah at the head of every century a man who shall renew or revive for it its religion. The personality mentioned in the above hadith is known as a mujaddid. The root word for mujaddid is jadda. Jadda is to be new, to be recent, or recent development. Jid is seriousness, earnestness, diligence. Jadid is new. In Arabic, jadid is new. New, recent, unprecedented, to renew. And now tajdid means renewal, renovation, reformation, renovation, restoration, reconditioning, rejuvenation, regeneration. So this was saying at the head of every century, Allah would raise a personality, a mujaddid, who would revive, renew, and restore Islam to its pristine. Now, I don't know if everybody got a calendar with them, but 1400 was 1979. The revolution happened exactly at the head of every century. Now, these talks are from the people that we were aware of and that we were familiar with, would say, when it says at the head of every century, it might be 20 years after, 20 years before, but it don't mean on that date. In 1979, when this revolution happened, was at the head of the century, that Allah would rise up a personality who would be a mujaddid, who would revive and renew and restore Islam. Now here, it was a few group of us who were hopeful and expecting this, but we expected maybe in 50 years or even 100 years. But we all pledged that if we're alive when that personality arrived, we're going to follow him. And I'm sorry to say that when Imam Khomeini arrived and we looked around, we were standing alone as far as those, in our environment, that was ready to accept and to follow most people in America the Muslims had never even heard of an Ayatollah. They heard about Ayatollah is a sign of Allah. So Ayatollah is a sign of God. Man, we can't, what is he talking about? He's a sign of God. Oh, what is this going on? All of a sudden, we turned on the TV and we were sitting there and watching, and there was a man cross-legged sitting in Neufle-Chateau over there in Paris with his legs crossed. And we thought, man, this is a big-time Sufi. This guy is really, you know what I mean? This is deep. And then we start hearing what he was talking about, because the brothers here in America was running around having demonstrations and passing out flyers all over America. Now I'm talking about 1978, 1979. And so when we began to read the words of Imam Khomeini, okay, the tapes, they had the tapes, the brothers and sisters had the tapes, but they were in Persian. But now we was reading what he was saying. I said, this man is a serious revolutionary. So we say, this is what we have been waiting for. Well, that's what it boils down to me out of our group. When I got traveling around talking about Imam Khomeini, everybody kind of backed up and, picked a little distance. But for us, Imam Khomeini, out of the 9 categories that they have for Mujaddid that Maulana Maududi was talking about, because this is while we was expecting a mujaddid, from what Maulana Maududi was saying. Because at that time, the leader of the Islamic movement in America, or the one reviving and restoring Islam, was Maulana Maududi. Our first masjid in Oakland was called Masjid al-Maududi. Now you got to remember, then comes Imam Khomeini. Now we kept our eye open. We want to see what is going on here. What is really happening here. And we come to find out, and we looked, and we saw, and we studied, and we remembered, well, can this thing last? That was the first question. Can this thing last? Let me see what we, revival of Islamic system, to take authority from the hands of non-Islam and practically re-establish government on a system described as caliphate after the pattern of prophethood. Universal revolution. This is from Maulana Maududi. He's saying, not to rest content with establishing an Islamic system in one or more of the countries already inhabited by Muslims, but to initiate such a strong universal movement as may spread the reformative and revolutionary message of Islam among mankind at large and enable Islam to become a predominant cultural force in the world and capture the moral, intellectual, and political leadership of mankind. The first question we would have out of this, from this Islamic revival, there's a 9, from 1 to 9 category on, about Islamic revival.
But Musa, I tend to cut you off, but you're running a little bit of time, and I think Saddam Hussein has another program and has to join you. I'm going to get back with you on the second.
No, go ahead. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Let's bear with us. We want to see a clip from Imam Khomeini's speech on the life of Salman and addressing the nation and Ummah of that time.
Are we not hearing the other talk?
Yeah, it's like, I guess they're, because I'm not sure what their setup is. Like, I guess they're piping in this with you guys' lecture, and I'm assuming that the video he talked about that was supposed to be playing is like kind of, getting aired now, I assume.
Oh, this is a video.
This is a video.
Okay.
No, he's playing a video, I think, of Imam Khomeini.
Yeah.
Right now,
right.
But we can't see
But
it.
we
Okay,
can't see
all right,
it. So
okay, that's okay.
I'm assuming.
Right.
Yeah, because we can't see it. Yeah, just for now, I've just muted us while they play their thing. Well, I'm assuming they're playing something, you know, because they have a different setup than what we usually deal with.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they're piping in the video from over here, and they play their videos from elsewhere. And maybe they do streaming content kind of like how I do it, you know? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
What's the YouTube channel? Did he say the YouTube?
No, he didn't say you'd have to catch him afterward. And
How do you say that?
he said that was for like poll questions.
Oh, that's
They're
what-
using this tool called
Oh, okay.
Slido. I went to it, and I went to the that you can ask questions through that platform. It's like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we should use that. You know? So yeah, I assume that's what's going on here. Because you can like hook up Zoom to as like a media source for some software, and you can kind of cut it in with other stuff that you're doing. Like, you know, we could probably do the same thing on Streamlabs, you know, if we were to have like multi-speaker events. And so I'm assuming that's what they're doing here. Because I think last time the brother just shared his screen, you know, and so we were able to hear everything that was going on. But it looks like I think this is actually like a television program. I'm sorry to get that feel.
Did you know it was gonna be a panel?
No, I was prepared for kind of a straight,
Right.
Yeah,
I was prepared for a straight type of a lecture,
Right.
and, but we deal with what come our way, it's no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they gave me the same vibe too, that it was going to be a lecture.
Yeah, it would be a lecture, and then that way, I knew that it would be someone else involved, but like before, he gave his lecture, and then I gave mine. So, it's okay, yeah. So that which they're playing now is a talk by Imam Khomeini or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, he's back.
Thank you so much, Imam Musa. Going back to Seattle, so that was, as you know, some of the revolutions are people-oriented and run around the axis of population or simply created by oppressed people, like we saw maybe in Arab Spring or Islamic Awakening, versus some of those so-called revolutions that are made through hands of secret agencies by our superpowers and oppressors, by injecting force and financial and media support known as coup or counter revolutions. What are the significant differences between Islamic revolution and other revolutions? Differences that made the 79 revolution superior and unique over others. And would you please also, at the end of your speech, share some of your memories from early 79s when the revolution happened with our audience? Thank you.
Yeah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The most significant difference between the Islamic Revolution of 1979 and other revolutions is that in this revolution, it's for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the ikhlas and sincerity towards Allah only. And this revolution is led by the person who is Ahle Yaqeen, Ahle Malakut, the one who belongs to the level of spiritual level of certitude and the world of hidden, the realm of hidden realities, Malakut. So this is extremely important point, because Hakim Islami Khalq Madar Nees, Khuda Mehwaras, Haq Mehwaras. I remember my teacher Ayatollah Jawadi Hafizahullah was saying, an Islamic ruler is not focused on what the people desire. He's not focused on the desires of the people. He's focused on haqq and truth and righteousness and Allah. So this is the most significant thing. Imam Khomeini stood for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man kana lillah, kana Allah Allah. Whoever stands for Allah, Allah is for him. And this is what distinguishes the Islamic revolution from every other revolution more than anything else. This is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is where you find the nusrat and victory, which nusrat and victory in Islam always comes from Allah. Nasrun min Allah. Nasr is from Allah. And the victory comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One event I would like to mention, and a couple of very important points before I would leave, is that when Imam Khomeini was returning from Paris, and he said, Shah Bayat Pero, a very famous sentence, Shah has to leave, and Shah left. When you are serving Tawud, you need to leave this land. You're not serving the people. You don't deserve to be on this land. Shah left because of the protests and all that going on against him. Imam was about to fly from Paris to Tehran, and Shah Bakhtiyar Lakhnatullahi alayh installed surface-to-air missiles on Mehrabad airport that we are going to blow up the plane in the air. Air France refused to give any flight because every flight needed to be insured, and no insurance company was ready to provide any insurance for the flight from Paris to Tehran because Tehran has installed surface-to-air missiles. If a sinner like me would be there, a sinner like me would be doing 1,001 excuses to stay home. Imam is the one who said, Taqiyya haramas walau balagha ma balagha. Taqiyya is haram even though it may cost you whatever high cost. This is the sign of Ahlul Yaqeen that I was talking about. The leader who stands for Allah, he is Ahlul Yaqeen. He belongs to the level of spiritual level called Yaqeen and certitude. He belongs to the realm of Malakut, the realm of the hidden realities. When a person belongs to the realm of Malakut and Yaqeen, he has zero doubt. There were people, Imam Khomeini returned back, 4.5 million people were sent by Allah to receive him and welcome him at the airport. God knows where those 20,000 soldiers of Shah Bakhtiyar's puppet evil government fled away. God knows where did they go. When 4.5 million people are sent for welcoming Imam Khomeini at Mehrabad airport, 4.5 million sent by Allah. Everything is in the hands of Allah. Allah is running the whole universe. So there were people even in the house of Imam Khomeini returns back on 1st of February, 11th of February, Islamic Revolution became victorious. Up till 10th of February, one night before the Islamic Revolution's victory, even one night before, there was some people who thought we can never have an Islamic government. Even one night before, they used to think we can never have an Islamic government. And the next day, Islamic government became victorious. Wow! And Imam Khomeini had yaqeen and certitude right from his early age when he went to Ayatollah al-Ummah, Sheikh Shah Abadi, his spiritual mentor for Ilmul Irfan, the highest knowledge on earth, the highest knowledge of Islam, knowledge of the ma'rifat of Imam Sahibul Zaman and ma'rifat of Allah. He was Ahlul Yaqeen right from the beginning. Man kana ala bayyinatin min rabbihi. Whoever is on the evidence from his Lord will have no doubt. When you have no doubt, there are some people who are performing worships as a skeleton of worships. Skeletal worships only because they didn't get rid of the doubts in their life. So, because they never entered into the realm of the malakut and batin and hidden realities of this universe, they are not Ahlul Yaqeen. my message to you before I leave is that whenever you find a leader who is Ahlul Yaqeen, obey that leader blindly. That's the message. And those who have basirat and taqwa, insight and piety, will be the only ones who will obey. And Allah doesn't stand in need of me and you. Allah is our creator who is rich from anyone and everyone. We stand in need of God if we obey. Allah is picking up those precious pearls. How many humans are those pearls who are showing insight and piety to obeying the leader? So this is where it's the biggest blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving Islamic Ummah Samahatul Waliyul Faqih, Islamic leader today, who is Ahlul Yaqeen and certitude. And Ayatollah al-Hukmah, Sheikh Hassan Zada Famuli, my teacher, once came to meet with Samahatul Wali al-Faqih, Islamic leader, and he used the word Mawla Yaman, my master. And Ayatollah Khamenei shows modesty, tawadu, and was saying, why are you saying this? And this is where Ayatollah Hassan Zada Famuli, Hafidahullah, replied back, which I'm paraphrasing in my words, if I have seen a slightest speck of any uncleanliness in your soul, I would have never said that. These are the people who have no hijabat, no curtains on their soul. Because of the purification of the qalb and the heart, they can see the soul of each other. So when you have a leader who is Ahlul Yaqeen, the duty of the Muslim Ummah is obedience towards the walayat, and Imam Khomeini has said, Pushtibane walayat faqih basi bashid ta asidi bain mamlakat rasad. Be supporters of walayat of faqih, so there will be no harm reaching this Islamic government. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammadin wa alihi al-tahirin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sayyid Masjid. We are so honored to have you in our program, and we appreciate talking about this matter in this panel discussion. And hopefully we can hold more panels, and we can invite you and take benefit of your speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see a clip on the Imam Khomeini's arrival to Tehran from France, and we will be back to the program. Thank you.
You heard that? They're showing another video from
when Imam Khomeini was coming back from France.
yeah.
Right.